Welcome to the Anti-Gamer. Welcome to the Anti-Gamer Show. Welcome to the Anti-Gamer Show. So the GTA5 voice actors are defending the game, saying that it doesn't glamorize violence. Are you kidding me? Hello there, welcome to another episode of The Anti-Gamer, an episodic show that focuses on the banning and censoring of violent video games. In this episode, I want to talk about the horrible voice actors of the Grand Theft Auto 5 recently released mega blockbuster game that's managed to garner over $1 billion. Of course, millions of copies sold and many people exposed to this filth, to this garbage, to this horrific, violent, brutal game that's been the plague of, well, the media, the plague of American society, the plague of the Western world, the scourge of our children. This Grand Theft Auto 5 is clearly a negative influence on young children, on impressionable youths, and yes, even young adults and teenagers. Now I want to read you this article because you have the GTA 5 actors themselves trying to defend, of course failing to do so in their pathetic attempt. So I'm going to read some of the things that they mentioned in this article. Anyone who has any conception at all about the games and hasn't played them should go play the games before they open their mouths, said Ned Luke, who plays Michael DeSanta. Michael is one of the characters in Grand Theft Auto 5. The biggest misconception is that it glamorizes violence. It really doesn't, he added. If you look at my character, Michael, he's rich, but he's a miserable man. Even in the commercials, you see that. This is a guy who's struggling with his life's decisions. Now hold on. Let me reply to Ned Luke for a second. You see, the Michael character is a very aggressive character. And even seeing the commercials, we've all seen it, the little trailers regarding these characters, Michael is very volatile. He's quite aggressive and he displays nothing but physical violence. He's abusive towards his children. He's abusive towards strangers. He's seen physically attacking, punching, hitting, and even carrying weapons, intimidating other people in this game, in the commercials even. The very device, the very form of media meant to advertise this game. The game's marketing, the entire commercial media marketing behind this GTA 5 is based around the violent nature of the game. Let's read another pathetic quote from one of these sad GTA 5 actors. He's trying to become a good guy, but he can't. He just has all these demons that he's battling. It's the struggle. Take that and look at how he loves his family. Yeah, right, loves his family, more like abuses his family. Even though he wants to kill him, and that's what it is. Well, there you go. He wants to kill him. Can that be any more of an indication of a violent game, of a negative impact, of a horrible message? There's absolutely no reason to defend this. Only a sad mental case, a complete psychotic individual with severe mental problems would want to defend this. Now let's talk about Stephen Ogg, who played the super violent Trevor Phillips. That's right, the Trevor voice actor is Stephen Ogg, and he goes to say, "The hypocrisy drives me crazy. It just sets the wrong focus. Why not talk about gun control? Why not talk about parenting? Why not talk of lack of family values? There are so many other things to talk about. Look at what's on TV. Breaking Bad had that episode where blah 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 got his face blown off. There's a lot of intense stuff out there. Video games are just an easy scapegoat." Easy scapegoat? This is my response to this Stephen Ogg voice actor. It's not about having a scapegoat. It's not about putting the blame necessarily on the games, but rather the people that create these games, the developers, the publishers, the voice actors, the people who create these hyper-violent, ultra-insensitive, incredibly negative games that show nothing but immoral behavior from these characters. It is the responsibility of these publishers and developers and game creators, the ones that are making these games, they are the ones to blame because they create the product. They are essentially the drug dealers. They are the ones who sell the drugs to kids. They are the ones who create the drugs to sell to kids. The people who manufacture these games, they're the ones, they're the source. The source is the always number one thing to blame. It's the number one thing that you should point fingers at. And that includes you, Stephen Ogg. That includes you, because you lend your voice in creating this character. Alright, so now let me read what Sean Fonteno, who is a former gang member, and he voiced the character Franklin Clinton in Grand Theft Auto 5. People already have it in their mind that GTA is for kids because it's a game, Fonteno said. Then they hear about the violence and they're instantly gonna attack it because it's a game. Now if it's a movie, it would be a different story, and this same people would be out there supporting it. Grand Theft Auto 5 is like a movie. Once they get the game in their hands, they'll see. If kids get the game, then that's on their parents. Oh, really? Really, Mr. Fonteno? You're gonna blame the parents? You're gonna blame the people that just want to entertain their kids? You know, I love how the parents are always to blame when they get violent games or games that turn out to be really violent for their kids. The thing is, violent games should not exist in the first place. Violent games should not exist to begin with. They should be family-friendly, rated E for everyone, and all of these games should be non-violent. That's how you avoid confusing the parents and then them buying something mistakenly that's filled with violence. If GTA5 was rated E and did not have the violence in there in the first place, then there would be no problem. You can't just blame the parents. You can't just say, oh, it's the parents' fault. Because, I mean, not every single parent is an expert on games. Parents today are a much older generation, and they grew up in a different era. They probably did not even grow up on video games. So you can't really blame them because they don't really understand it. Parents understand video games as much as they understand modern technology. They're a little bit behind and they're a little bit slower than the current generation of people. The younger audiences that are easier and quicker to pick up on modern technology. Alright, and here I'm going to read a final quote from Luke. Luke said a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, just like a gangster movie like Goodfellas, is alluring because it allows players to experience a fantasy scenario. He even said that the game is violent, although he doesn't allow his 11-year-old son to play it. People should not take a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 so seriously because it's just meant to be fun. Okay, Luke, if that is what you have to say regarding this game, you're not gonna let your 11-year-old son to play this? Well, let me tell you something, mister. My 11-year-old is allowed to play Grand Theft Auto 5, but the reason I let my 11-year-old play Grand Theft Auto 5 is so that I can show him and make him understand that this game is very violent. I make him play all the missions right in front of me, standing right next to him, as he sits there, cowering with this expression on his face. It's like he is so shocked that his face is very stiffly focused on the game, and he can't help but, it's almost like a smile, but more of a very serious smile, like he's trying to enjoy it, but he really can't because I'm standing next to him. So I'm forcing him to go through these missions where the main characters are violently killing and shooting and running over pedestrians. I also make my 11-year-old son go to the strip club in Grand Theft Auto 5 because the strip club is very, very sexist. It's degrading to women. It's degrading to the opposite gender. I want to expose to him that these women showing off their CGI breasts are simply being used as a tool of arousal, as nothing but fan service. And I want my 11-year-old son to understand this. So, I make him play the game. And if he doesn't, I threaten him. Yes, I threaten him. I threaten to take away his allowance. I threaten to take away his freedom. And when I say threaten to take away his freedom, I just mean I put a lock on his door and keep him inside his bedroom. He can't go outside to play. He can't even go to the bathroom until he starts playing this game. So basically, this is how you raise your kids. I'm doing it right. I'm doing it properly. This is how I teach my 11-year-old son, unlike you, Mr. Luke. The GTA 5 is filled with violence, that gaming is filled with horrible material that's not meant for children. So that's it for this episode of The Anti-Gamer. And keep in mind, GTA 5 is a horribly violent game and filled with sexism. Do not buy it for your kids unless you want to teach them what real game violence truly is.